Hey guys, welcome to Catching Up with Cam. Today's special guest is my best friend Jayln Parker.
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing?
And today we're going to talk about NFL Week 9 and NFL Week 10, as well as college football Week 10 and Week 11. So first thing I want to start off with a recap of NFL Week 9. One of the 1 o'clock kickoff games was Dolphins and Bears. Dolphins won this game 35-32. Bad call by the refs that were missed at the end of the game. But there was a lot of bad calls in that game overall, but still should have been called. Ultimately, the Dolphins defense could not stop Justin Fields at all. But yeah, Dolphins win. What you got to say?
The Bears should definitely win that game, honestly.
Well, I think what's the coolest aspect about it is this man, Justin Hurts, literally had 123 passing yards. So you mean to tell me that if we would have just stopped him from running, they really wouldn't have scored? I mean, that's just...
If I would have stopped him by running, the game would have been differently.
Yeah, I mean, we would have opened up the game for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Another game is Chargers at Falcons. So for those of you that don't know this, my man Jayln over here is a Falcons fan. He needs a little help right now. Ultimately, y'all, started off the game 7-0 with an impressive drive.
Oh, yeah.
But then they went up 14-10 at half. And then y'all went up 17-14.
Yeah.
You want to walk me through that final game-winning drive by the Chargers? I wasn't watching that game. Just so I can understand how y'all blew it. Hold on, let me turn these lights on.
We just can't hold on to the ball. I
mean, I give you that one.
I mean, I know you saw the play.
I did see the play.
I know you saw the play.
Definitely saw the play.
It's just a Falcons trophy. That's what we do.
Do you think that if the big dude would have fell on it, y'all would have won?
Oh, we definitely would have won that game for sure.
Okay. What are some of your other insights about it? Like, do you feel good about how your defense or offense played, or?
We just suck as a franchise. We're just terrible as a franchise.
Well, if y'all have leads, yes. If not, then no.
Yeah, how do we go from being the 49ers by like 30?
We're a lot better than the Chargers right now.
Then losing to the Chargers, it don't make no sense.
Definitely a crazy one. Raiders at Jags. So the Raiders went up 17-0 at one point. And the Jags just battled back, played great defense in the second half. Ultimately won, 27-20?
Yeah, 27-20.
They just locked down Devontae Adams the second half. Travis Etienne stepped up, had another 100-yard rushing game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is also playing winnable football. What do you think? Definitely a shocking win, but not really with how the Raiders have.
I just feel like if more receivers stepped up on the Raiders, except for Devontae Adams, they would have won more games.
See, I feel you, but I disagree. I think if their O-line protected Derek Carr,
true,
they'd win more games.
Their O-line is kind of terrible.
But it just depends, because their defense ain't holding up on the back end either.
I just feel like Darren Waller needs to play better.
That's for sure. Because he's paid top 5 money. He's not playing like he's top. He's not even playing like he's top 15.
He's playing like he's top 30.
Yeah. So Packers Lions. Ultimately, this one surprised a lot of people. Not me. I predicted the Lions to win in my earlier episode last week. Ultimately, the Lions defense looked really good this week. They picked off Aaron Rodgers 3 times in the red zone. Shut him out 5 times in the red zone. Not only picked him off 3 times, but shut him out 5 times in the red zone.
He didn't. Aaron Rodgers, he's not him anymore. Without Devontae Adams on his team.
He was never him. He just had Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings and prime Randall Cobb. But that's Aaron Jones, Eddie Lacy when he was good. A.J. Dillon right now.
I mean, their defense played well. The Packers defense did well.
Yeah.
Their offense could have
been you contain a good offense like the Lions to 15 points, you expect to win the game.
Their offense just couldn't produce.
For sure, yeah. Which is a big step up for the Lions defense, who just let Tua pass for almost 400 yards the week before. But definitely A shocking one, not necessarily with who won, but the score. I predicted it to be 48-45 ball game, like that type of ball game.
Right.
So the next one, Bills at Jets.
Shocking one. No
Definitely a shocking one. I got this one wrong last week. Josh Allen, he said it himself on his news conference that you can't win when your quarterback plays like crap. So he threw 2 picks. He still had 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, ultimately he played good, just not great, like we expect to see Josh Allen play. And I think that's ultimately the biggest difference in this game. The Jets' defense wreaked havoc on him all game long, especially in the passing game. What else do you think about the game?
I think a lot of people just downplay the Jets. The Jets are actually contenders this year.
Yeah, number 1 defense in all statistics across the board. Scoring defense, turnover differential, sacks, QB pressures, QB hits. I mean, they're just...
I didn't think the Jets were going to have a positive record this year.
I didn't either. And, you know, I'm upset by that because my Dolphins are in their division. But it's a hard division. But, you know.
It is a hard division.
It is. But Josh Allen got hurt last week. They're saying that if it's true what has happened, he may need Tommy John surgery, which is weird for a football player. Mostly only baseball pitchers need that type of surgery.
Just like in your elbow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's basically a baseball surgery. Like, it's not usually anything football-wise. Definitely something to look forward to, because if he's out for an extended period of time,
who's going to be playing?
The Dolphins or Case Keenum.
Yeah.
The Dolphins or Jets will definitely win that division if he's out for an extended period of time. They don't have a running game to rely on. Now, I mean, you give any quarterback, Stephon Diggs. We saw what happened that year with Case Keenum in Minnesota, the Minneapolis Miracle. I mean, it's just...
I don't think the Bills' run game is that bad. I mean,
it's not.
You got Singletary and James Cook.
And Naeem Hines, the newest addition. They just, for whatever reason it is, they
just
cannot run block. I don't know what it is. They have a great old line. I don't understand why they can't
run block.
But next game, Vikings at Commanders. So the Commanders were up 17-7. It really scares me how good they're playing with Taylor Heineke. Versus Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, Carson Wentz actually has had a good season.
He had a good season.
They're just not winning with him. And that's the issue.
He's not the same Carson Wentz that was on the Eagles.
No. But Kirk Cousins stepped up late, proving that he can be a primetime player.
Oh, yeah.
For once in his career.
Justin Jefferson does Justin Jefferson things.
Yeah, Adam Thielen steps into the mix. Dalvin Cook, you know.
Jalen Reagor, nowhere to be seen.
Like always, nothing changed. Seahawks, Cardinals. Kyler Murray played good. D-Hop played good. Cardinals defense did not play good. Seahawks defense did not play good.
Geno Smith did. He had a game.
Geno Smith is showing us that he's a true number 1 quarterback in this league, which is a sentence I never thought I would hear. Never thought I would hear.
If you told 13-year-old me that Geno Smith is going to be started, I would have laughed at you.
For the Seahawks, no less.
Yeah.
For the Seahawks, not for the Jets like he used to when he was actually decent. But for the Seahawks, not Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, who is leading a lot of categories for all quarterbacks this year.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Kyler Murray, you know, Modern Warfare 2 came out. But other than that, he's just, not a lot to talk about there. I mean, they were down by 10. Dude ran for 30 yards and did what y'all's defensive lineman did and just dropped the ball. At least somebody touched him, though, I guess.
Right.
I guess I got to give him some kind of a pass. But Rams at Bucks. So this game, I'm going to be honest, really sucked.
Yeah, it was a boring game.
At one point, the Rams went up 13-6. There's, 2 touchdowns total scored in this game?
Yeah, that game was boring. I didn't really watch it.
The Bucks ended up winning 16-13. Not a good game to watch. Not a fun game to watch. Both quarterbacks suck this year. Their defenses, I don't understand how bad they've been. Like, the Rams' defense has just been awful this year, and so has the Bucs. And that's not changed. If anything, gotten better.
Right. Because Rams picked up Bobby
Wagner. They picked up Allen Robinson on offense, and they can't even score. Matthew Stafford has, like 8 picks already and, like, 8 touchdowns?
8 touchdowns, yeah.
I think he's on pace for, like, 15 on the year and, like, 25 picks. So, not really a good thing. Titans at Chiefs. So, this one surprised a lot of people and surprised me.
I didn't really watch this game.
I thought the Titans would keep it close to the second half, and then the Chiefs would blow them out of the water. Going into the last 5 minutes of the game, the Titans were up on the Chiefs in Kansas City 17-9. Kind of scary considering they have Malik Willis, who's unproven. He'll be a good quarterback when he gets ready. He's just not there yet.
Right.
But he'll get there. Derrick Henry, I'm pretty sure he went off for another 100-yard game. When does he not? But Patrick Mahomes nearly passed for 500 yards and they only scored 20 points. I don't know how you do that. Maybe it is him missing Tyreek Hill a little bit, and maybe we saw that more this game than any other game.
Right.
Because the Titans, they do have a good secondary. They do have a great secondary. Their run defense needed a little help, but the only key thing that kept him in this game was Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of scrambles, a lot of passes. That's the only way they won this game. Ravens at Saints. So
I didn't really watch this game either.
This is a Monday night game, yeah?
Yeah, Monday night.
I picked the Saints to win mainly because they were just at home. And I know normally in the Caesar Superdome they do play good.
Lamar came to play.
But Lamar's trying to prove that he wants his money and that he's an MVP quarterback. So what do I know? So ultimately the Ravens defense didn't let the Saints really do much. Alvin Kamara wasn't a factor. Andy Dalton wasn't a factor, but he never is on prime time, so I don't know why I predicted him to win.
Dalton got sacked, I think, 6 times that game.
I think it was 7. It was 7. That reminds me of last year on Monday Night Football when Ian Book, when he started for the Saints versus the Dolphins, they sacked him 9 times.
9 times.
9. That's almost more than the Dolphins have on the season this year. We only have 18, which is not horrible, but for the Dolphins' edge rushers and pass rush, it's pretty bad. Moving on to NFL Week 10. Thursday night game, which is tomorrow. Kicks off at what, 8:20 on Amazon Prime?
8:20.
Falcons at Panthers.
That's a dub.
The Panthers.
That's a dub.
The Panthers unveil their new unis, their new helmets.
They ain't winning.
I think DJ Moore goes off for another good game.
They still gonna lose.
But I think y'all still win 34-27.
They ain't scoring more than 7.
You don't think it'll be that close?
No.
Y'all did let them score 20 in the fourth quarter last time?
Hey, that's last game.
I don't understand how you screwed yourself twice in that game and still won.
It don't matter.
I don't understand how that can happen. The only team that can mess themselves over every game and still win 2 of them. But I think the Falcons will win 34. You know what? I'll say 34-21. But I got Marcus Mariota making a lot of plays, not just with his arm, but with his legs.
I see Kyle Pitts doing something this game.
And I think if A.J. Terrell comes back, which he's scheduled to, I think he picks off P.J. Walker twice. And the Falcons win. Moving on. Seahawks-Bucks in Munich. 9:30 kick Sunday morning because it's in Munich.
I have the Bucks to win by 14.
You think the Bucks will beat the Seahawks? The Seahawks. Kenneth Walker has went for over 100 yards in his last 3 games. Geno Smith's went for over 300 yards in his past 2 games. DK Metcalf's back. He's healthy. Tyler Lockett's been going crazy. I think if they make one defensive stop, they'll win this game. But I just think the way Tom Brady and that offense has looked this year, I think Seahawks, Kenneth Walker runs it down the Bucs defense throat. I think he goes for 200 yards. Not 200 yards. I think he goes for over 150 yards.
150.
And then with 2 touchdowns. And I think Geno Smith has another great game. I think DK Metcalf is the story, though. I think he goes off for 180 yards receiving. And I think he has 3+ touchdowns.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think the Seahawks win 35-14.
35-14?
Mm-hmm. What you thinking?
I like that prediction. I like that.
Like that? All right. Browns at Dolphins. So this is a 1 p.m. kick. Browns can be I don't know. It depends on what Browns team shows up. You got it when they play great defensively, and then you got it when they play absolutely atrocious. I don't. Myles Garrett can make an edge, but with Teron Armstead blocking him, probably not. That's the one good thing about the Dolphins this year. Their O-line is drastically improved from last year. Mainly the signing of Teron Armstead has helped so much, and Connor Williams.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Tyreek Hill goes off for, I'm going to say he gets to 200 yards this week. I will. I think they're going to put Denzel Ward on Jaylen Waddle.
He's going to guard Tyreek then.
I mean, either way, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Then you're still leaving Raheem Mostert out of the backfield, Trent Sherfield, Mike Gesicki, Jeff Wilson, whoever running back in Alec Ingold. I mean, there's too many weapons on that offense. Tua hits them in stride anytime, it's a touchdown. At any given play, any given moment, they can break one. Any of those players I just named could. Mike Gesicki's one of the fastest tight ends in the league, especially for a white dude. But I think the Dolphins win. I'm gonna say 38-25.
Cool prediction. I like this cool prediction.
You like that? You agree with that?
I agree with that.
All right. I do think Tua goes off for 400 yards again. I really do. And we all know I'm not I was never the biggest Tua fan, but I have always said that he is a good quarterback, and I will stick to that. And this year he is proving that. But I think this year, in this game, he puts himself back in the MVP race. Vikings at Bills. So one that's kind of thrown up in the air right now is the Vikings are 7-1 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are 6-2. Their only two losses are to AFC East opponents. Now, those AFC East opponents, the Dolphins and the Jets, are the only two teams to hold them under 30 points this game, or this season. And statistically, the Dolphins' defense ranks last in a lot of categories, mainly because they're so banged up, but still. So that shows reason to believe the Dolphins are real this year. But Bills without Josh Allen versus the Vikings' defense and offense, I don't think that's a recipe for something good to happen. But I don't know per se if he's going to be out or not. He's day to day.
Right.
But if he does end up needing that surgery, then the Bills are looking pretty lost on the season. So with that being said, if Case Keenum gets the start, I think the Vikings will win. But if Josh Allen starts, then I would go with the Bills by maybe a last-second field goal. So this one's just kind of swaying in the win for me. What do you think?
I say the Vikings come out top by 14.
No matter who plays or if Case Keenum starts.
In case Keenum starts, I see they definitely win by 14, but if Josh Allen starts, I can see him probably win by 7.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Vikings are a good team this year. Lions at Bears. So, honestly, two good offenses, two horrible defenses.
If Justin Fields runs like how you did against y'all, they'll win that game.
Oh, 100%. But if the Lions come to play and they shut Justin Fields out in the run game, then I think the Lions win. Ultimately, I think Justin Fields' legs, Khalil Herbert, and David Montgomery, the Bears' run game, I think is what gets him the dub here. But I think it will be a high-scoring game.
High scoring.
Yeah. What do you think?
Definitely high scoring game.
Who do you think wins?
I'm going to say the Bears. I would say the Bears win by 7.
Okay, and what do you think has to happen for them to win?
If Justin Fields ran like he did last week, they'll definitely win.
Yeah, for sure. Broncos at Titans. Honestly, this one's tricky.
Russell hasn't been playing good football.
No, but last week, or 2 weeks ago, they had a bye last week. 2 weeks ago versus the Jags. He played really good football, made a fourth-quarter game-winning drive. I don't know if he'll sustain it, but I think that maybe they've hit their stride. They're 3-6 with a lot of one-possession losses. Most of their losses have been by like three or less points. So I think, but I'm going to have to give it to Titans. I think Derrick Henry goes off again. I think he's just
especially on that defense,
unstoppable. Without Bradley Chubb, it's just hard to pick against the Titans in this situation. But honestly, I think the Titans win 17-14. I don't think it'll be
I agree with that.
a good score. Jags at Chiefs. So
the Chiefs smacked the Jags. I feel like the Chiefs will smack.
I don't know. This has the type of energy to be a trap game for the Chiefs. It really does. Every year they lose to a team that they should have beaten by like 40. It happens without a doubt. Every single time.
I can see them smacking the Jags by at least 20.
Oh, I could too. And I think that's what's going to happen solely because it's in Kansas City. Now, if this was in Jacksonville, I could very much see it, and it would be a trap game, but I think the Chiefs still would have won, even if it was in Jacksonville.
The Chiefs defense, no, the Jags defense, they're not really, they're okay.
They're decent. They're halfway through the pack.
Right.
But I think Chiefs win by 14 or more points.
The Chiefs just have so many offensive wide receivers they can just use at their disposal.
Some that can go up and get it, and some that can just run around you. So, I mean, I think Chiefs win here by 14 or more points. Cardinals at Rams. So neither of these teams are playing good. They're both 3-6. But I think Kyler Murray.
I think Kyler has a game.
I think Kyler Murray, D-Hop, James Conner being back for the second week in a row. I think Rondale Moore. I think they absolutely demolished the Rams.
I think Marquise Brown's gonna have a game.
I really do. I don't know if he's back yet.
Is he still?
I think he may have been out for the year. Cool. I think that's why they traded for Robbie Anderson.
What happened with him again?
His MCL, I think.
MCL. Okay, cool. Okay.
But yeah, I got the Cardinals winning big here.
I can see that.
Yeah. Chargers at Chargers at 49ers. My bad. My ADD got the best of me there. Honestly, Justin Herbert, if Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are gone, if they're not there, then the 49ers crush the Chargers.
They crush them.
They're hands down a better team than y'all, even though they lost to y'all. I think they have a better roster. I think y'all are the better team, but I think they have the better roster than y'all. Right. Especially now with CMC and Debo healthy. Mm-hmm. And Trent Williams will finally be back. Oh, yeah. I think that gives the 49ers everything they need to just obliterate the Chargers. I think they win. I'll make it close. I think they win 35-14. 31-14. Because I don't think Jimmy G's going to put up that many points. I think 31-14. What do you think?
I can see that.
Commanders at Eagles, Monday night.
Eagles undefeated once again.
Okay.
The offense is just too exposed. Oh, my bad. The whole team is just too explosive.
That Eagles O-line is just something else.
Their defense is good. Their offense is good.
But with that being said, Taylor Heineke as the starter for the Commanders once again, he just gives them a little bit of an extra edge. I think they play good, but I think the Eagles pull away late.
Oh, yeah, honestly. That's just...
Jalen Hurts has himself an MVP-type performance in the fourth quarter.
A.J. Brown's always open.
A.J. Brown, you can't guard him. I don't know.
Quez Watkins,
fast as crap. Devontae Smith catches everything. Miles Sanders is running through people like he's just 6'4", playing tight end or something. So that's really all I got for NFL Week 10 and the NFL in general. So now we're going to move on to college football. We're going to talk about last week's games. College football Week 10.
I didn't really watch any.
College game days, game of the week, UT at UGA. I got to admit, I predicted this one wrong, so that's on me. I knew Georgia's defense was legit. I just didn't think their offense was, and we clearly saw they were not. But with that being said, when you hold your opponent to 13 points, then anything's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do I think when they play Michigan, LSU, or even if they had to play us or Ohio State, would they need to score more? Definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think Tennessee, if this was in Tennessee, it would have been a better game. Or if Tennessee wasn't ranked number one, I think it would have been a lot better game. I don't think they knew how to handle being ranked number one. Every big game they've come into this year, they've come in as the underdogs, and that's why they played good. They had nothing to lose.
I just feel like him and Hooker, his online just...
Oh, they gave up on him. He was sacked 8 times.
8 times, yeah.
That's more than he's been sacked the whole year.
His online was not helping that man.
They tried to get him and Hooker killed that whole night. Stetson Bennett played good enough to win. Missed a lot of key throws. Made some bad decisions that just weren't capitalized on.
I feel like he's a good game manager.
He is definitely prototypical game manager. He's not a flashy guy. He can run, but he's not your deep ball, I'm going to throw somebody open, that type of person. He's not your NFL quarterback. He's just a game manager.
Yeah, right.
But next game, Bama at LSU at night in Death Valley. This one's a tough one for me to talk about. Bryce Young, by any stretch of the imagination, did not play well. Even when he did, his receivers can't catch anything, but even if it was a cold. Alabama's receivers have been awful this year. They can't catch, especially Jermaine Burton. Can y'all have him back? I really don't want him no more.
No, y'all got him. Y'all can have him.
I didn't want him when he came over at first, but I really don't want him now.
No, y'all got him.
He's not good at football. I don't understand why we have him. But Jaden Daniels was just too much for this Bama defense. His legs, his arm, and Harold Perkins, the dang middle linebacker who reminds me of Devin White, spied the crap out of Bryce Young the other day. Now, Bryce Young had a beautiful touchdown to Ja'Cory Brooks, where he looked like he was pulling off a magic trick. Dude escaped being sacked 11 times, stayed behind the pocket, rolled around, found a wide open wide receiver, and scored a touchdown. How is that even possible? Dude was hit by 5 defenders, one of them twice. 2 of them were face masks, and he still got away from him and threw a touchdown. I mean, there's so many plays where you can tell where we're wasting his talent and Jahmyr Gibbs' his talent. Yeah. Bill O'Brien's not a good offensive coordinator. Pete Golding's not a good defensive coordinator.
He did text and he saw what happened with that.
Both of them need to be fired, and if they're not, then the same thing's going to keep going for Alabama next year. So LSU looks really good. Bama, for the first time in a long time, doesn't control their own destiny in Week 11. The earliest they've been out of the national title race in a long time. But you know what? It's okay. So much talent that isn't playing to potential right now because of coaching or because of mindset. I don't know, but LSU got the win. Oklahoma State at Kansas.
I didn't watch that game.
Kansas stormed their field after beating Oklahoma State, which is ranked number 16 in the country, so it's understandable. Kansas looked really good at the beginning of the year. They were 5-0. They lost the last 3. So this is the first time they've been bowl eligible since 2008. Let that sink in. Since 2008, they have not won more than 3 games in a season. So I get why they stormed their field. They're bowl eligible for the first time in a long time. What I thought was funny is how they trolled Tennessee. So they stormed the field, took down the goalpost, but that night, within an hour, they had already replaced the goalpost and fixed the field. And then they posted on Twitter. They were like, "No GoFundMe necessary." I was like, wow, that's next level petty right there. Texas at Kansas State. So Kansas State looked really good, but ultimately Adrian Martinez is still hurt. Quinn Ewers just looks really good in that Steve Sarkisian offense. That Texas team just plays a lot better when Quinn Ewers is in at quarterback. Oh, yeah. Definitely would have beaten Alabama if he didn't get hurt. But I think just Quinn Ewers is the only reason why they won that game. Clemson at Notre Dame.
I didn't watch that.
You know what the final score was?
Was it bad?
Yes, Notre Dame 35, Clemson 14. And they didn't score those till like 5 minutes left in the game. So Notre Dame just was all over this Clemson Tigers offense and defense, showing the rest of the world that Clemson was overrated, did not deserve to be in the top 5. Here they go. They still put them back in the top 10 after losing to a Notre Dame team who lost to Marshall, who is in the Sun Belt Conference. And not only did they lose to Marshall, they lost to Marshall in South Bend, in Notre Dame, in their home stadium. They paid them $2 million to come play them, and they lost. And Clemson gets their butts kicked by him in South Bend. How is that even possible? What's your thought? Nothing, you don't really know.
Clemson's, I didn't really watch any of them. I don't think Clemson's a top 5 team.
No, I don't even think they're a top 15 team.
They shouldn't belong in there.
No. Wake Forest at NC State.
Didn't watch that.
Honestly, it was a pretty good game. It was a close game. NC State, which I predicted to happen, and I predicted the Clemson game. NC State won. That backup, MJ Morris, dual threat guy, freshman, amazing. Did good through the air, ran with his legs. He did everything he needed to. Wake Forest is just on the struggle bus this year. Their defense is not good. But now we're going to talk about college football week 11. So one of the bigger matchups of college football week 11 is Bama at Ole Miss. Obviously, probably would have been college game day if we didn't lose to LSU the week before. As a Bama fan, there's not much to look forward to right now.
I can see y'all winning by 7.
I could see it just because I don't think Ole Miss's offense is as good as everybody thinks it is.
The defense is.
Now, Quinshawn Judkins and Zach Evans, they're the real deal at running back. They really are. But I don't think Jackson Dart has enough right now. I think next year he'll be a lot better, but I think this year's still a growing pains type of year.
Right.
But I think Alabama by 10.
2.
Even at Ole Miss. I think the only reason why Alabama could lose this game is because it's at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We don't play good on the road. 2 of our losses this year are on the road.
On the road.
3 of our last 3 losses are on the road. So, I mean, what you got? I think
I agree with your prediction. I say either y'all win by 10, they win by 10. I feel it's going to be a close game.
Jameer Gibbs has to have an insane day.
He has to.
Louisville at Clemson. So Louisville beat a team that Clemson barely beat in double overtime, which was Wake Forest. Actually, it was triple overtime, 54-46. Louisville beat Wake Forest 48-21.
So you think Louisville's going to win this game?
I think it's a trap game. I think the only reason I think Clemson could win this game is because it's in Clemson. But I think Malik Cunningham of Louisville has an insane game, and I think Louisville wins.
Okay.
What do you think?
I say Louisville wins by 14.
Okay.
14 or more points.
Yeah. Maryland at Penn State, which, again, there's not a lot of great games this week, but there's a couple. Maryland at Penn State's a really underrated game. Maryland's looked really good under Mike Locksley, especially this year with Talia Tungavailoa, the younger brother of Tua, who's playing out of his mind at Maryland this year. I think he's the reason they beat Penn State, and I just think they win 24-10.
I agree with that.
So, UCF at Tulane.
I feel like Tulane wins that game.
2 teams that are ranked in the playoffs for some unknown reason for the first time in a long time, but that's a good thing. It means the college football world's expanding, and it's really good. But honestly, I think Tulane's defense is just too much for UCF and Coach Gus Malzahn. I don't like that name. I don't like that dude. So, yeah. Tulane by 50. All right. UGA at Mississippi State.
That's a big dog.
Not a good game. The only reason I could see this turning into a trap game, and I'll tell you why. At Missouri, y'all should have lost.
Nah.
Yes.
No.
You beat Missouri 26-22.
Dubs.
At Missouri.
A win's a win.
Missouri's not even a bowl eligible team right
A
now.
win's a win.
They're like 5-4.
A win's a win.
A win is a win, but when Alabama does it, it's not a win.
Y'all didn't win.
I know. But when we beat Texas, it wasn't like a win. It was just because their backup got hurt.
I mean, that really is the result.
And a win's a win.
A win's a win.
It's got to work the same.
A win's a win.
But, and there's nothing, the transitive property can't go into college football. The only reason I say that is because y'all's defense struggles on the road.
Oh, yeah. We're not very good on the road.
And Stetson Bennett just plays god-awful on the road. But I honestly, Mississippi State's one of the hardest environments to play in, one of the loudest. You know, they travel well. They have the cowbells. That's going to be off the chain. Mississippi State's offense with Will Rogers, he averages like 400 passing yards a game. If he can do that, then I think it's very much a winnable game for Mississippi State. But I think also because y'all just won an emotional game against Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing that sets up for a big upset the next week. What do you think?
Yeah, Stetson Bennett and the defense play good. I say we win by at least 20.
Yeah, it really it's a tale of 2 teams this year.
Right.
Whichever UGA team shows up depends on how the outcome of this game goes. If the UGA team that beat Tennessee shows up, UGA by 30. if the UGA team that shows up versus Missouri, this team has the offensive capability to beat y'all. So if they sleepwalk into this one, Mississippi State will win this game.
Okay.
100%. But I don't see that happening. I think y'all win by 7 or more. Washington at Oregon. Top 25 matchup. Oregon's ranked number 6 in the country for some unknown reason.
They only have one loss, and it's against us.
They lost by 45 points.
It's against us, though.
Okay, but Tennessee lost by 13. That should show you that Oregon's not a quality team. Granted, first game of the season, brand new quarterback, brand new head coach, brand new system, whatever the case may be. Even with that, if Oregon was that good, they still would have put up more than 3 points. I rest my case. But I still think with it being at Eugene, I think Oregon beats Washington. And I think they beat the brakes off of Washington. I really do. I think Bo Nix has another Heisman performance. He's not going to win the Heisman. I just know that with how good he has been playing, everybody wants him to. But, yeah. What do you think?
Let's see. Yeah, Oregon wins by 20 or plus.
Number 4, TCU at number 18, Texas. What do you think?
TCU, very underrated team. I didn't think it was going to be this good this year. I can see TCU winning by 14.
But with that being said, they're not dominating teams. They're not. They're playing close games.
They're winning games by like 7.
Yeah,
14.
and they're coming back from behind to beat teams. I want to pick TCU just because I want to see another good offense come in the mix because I know that there's only 2 teams in college football that can keep up with TCU's offense scoring-wise. And that's Ohio State, and that's Tennessee. It's not Michigan. It's not Georgia. It's dang sure not Oregon. And it's not Alabama. It's not LSU. And it's definitely not Clemson. That's for sure. But I want to see them make the playoffs. But I think Quinn Ewers at quarterback for Texas, I think he's the deciding factor. But I think it's an old-fashioned shootout. And I think Texas wins 58-55. What you think?
Yeah, I can see a close game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good game to watch. Both offenses are high-powered. Both defenses struggle at times. Another one. This is kind of just wishful thinking because it's LSU at Arkansas. Arkansas, a team that just lost to Liberty last week. I don't know why I put this on here. Right now, I'm just hoping that LSU loses another SEC game because they only play 2 and they play A&M or Arkansas, and I know they're not going to lose to Texas A&M.
Oh, no.
Texas A&M is 3-7 on the year, so I'll stick with this one. LSU at Arkansas after a big upset versus Alabama. That's why I think it could be possible. It's a setup for a road trap game in Fayetteville. KJ Jefferson back at quarterback. Raheem Sanders in the backfield at running back. If LSU struggles on offense, this Arkansas team can very much take advantage of it. And maybe that's, again, just wishful thinking because if they lose, then Alabama controls the West. If they beat, well, I can't say that because then they only have 2 SEC losses. But then there's tie and there's a record breaker, which is either points or win head-to-head.
Right.
So we need LSU to at least lose 1 more game, but we need them to lose 2. But that being said, I just don't think it's going to happen. I want it to, but I can't predict it to happen. Maybe if Texas A&M is at A&M, maybe that could happen, but I doubt it. But, yeah, LSU by 14 or more points. I'm not stupid enough to take Arkansas.
LSU's definitely winning that game.
But, okay, guys, so that's all we have for today. Thank you, Jayln, for coming on today's podcast.
No problem.
All right, peace out.